I remember the first time someone told me that I should try to find joy in my suffering. I thought they were a little crazy because suffering, you suffer, obviously. It's painful, it's hard. But the Bible does say that we are to count it all joy when we find suffering. Today I'm going to share with you a little bit how to do that and why it's so beneficial. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Kalli Grace and I'm here teaching you how to abound in hope and abide in love. The verse I'm basing this video off of today is James 1:2-4. Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Like this verse says, testing produces perseverance in us. It gives us endurance. Just like how a cross-country runner has to practice in order to have endurance, we have to go through the hard, go through the pain in order to be stronger. I also want to share this verse in the Passion Translation. James 1:2-4. My fellow believers, when it seems as though you're facing nothing but difficulties, see it as an invaluable opportunity to experience the greatest joy that you can. For you know that when your faith is tested, it stirs up power within you to endure all things. And then as your endurance grows even stronger, it will release perfection into every part of your being until there's nothing missing and nothing lacking. Wow, that is beautiful and that is amazing. Just meditating on this verse gives me so much joy. And a disclaimer I want to say is that when it says count it all joy, personally I don't think it means to feel happy about your circumstance. It means to have joy that when this is over, you will reap rewards, and when you pass this test, God will bless you in ways that you cannot even imagine. And another disclaimer is, I don't think we're called to find this joy by ourselves. It's God helping us. It's God placing peace in our minds and hope in our heart. I wanted to share a couple things about suffering. First of all, it's not about us. This is something that God has been speaking to me over and over, that my life is not about me. And in this generation, in this culture, that is so hard for me to understand. When all of the commercials, when all of society, Instagram, Facebook says, you need to do this to be happier, you need to do this for yourself, it's hard for me to comprehend that God didn't put me on earth to satisfy myself. He put me here to glorify Him, to bring others closer to Him, and to share the gospel with others. In 1 Corinthians 16:9 it says, you are not your own, for you were bought with a price. We were bought with a price by Jesus dying on the cross. Therefore, as slaves, we were bought, but we are not slaves under God. We are friends. Another thing about suffering is that when you seek for peace and hope, it's really found in God. Romans 15:13 says, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. It says the God of hope. He is the God of hope. He's the whole leader of it. I think we often believe that hope and peace will be found when we finish our to-do list, when we get another job, when there's not conflict in our family, but it's not found there. Even when those things happen, there will always be something else. Jesus can bless us with this peace that passes all understanding, but you have to ask and you have to seek Him. Another thing about suffering is trust. In suffering, we are called to trust God. And this has been very, very difficult for me during this season because right now I don't see God in my circumstances. I see pain and heartache. But the Bible tells me through so many different stories and so many verses and principles that we can trust God and He has the best intentions for us. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and He will make straight your paths. We're called to trust God no matter the circumstance we're in. I also want to point out that sometimes trusting in God in a certain outcome isn't the best. For me, I've been trusting in God to heal me, but sometimes I trust in that outcome more than I trust in God. I hope that this will happen, and when it doesn't, I am very offended and disappointed. I think there are certain times when it is good to hope and trust in a certain outcome. For example, right now I'm trusting for healing from Lyme disease, but I'm not trusting in a certain date or a certain time. I'm just trusting Him that He will heal me eventually, and hopefully it's sooner than later. During times of suffering, the Bible can become your treasure. Lately I've been so hungry for the Word that even when I read 10 chapters, I don't feel full. I feel like I always just need more truth and more wisdom. I've never had this before. I never had this hunger. But I believe it's because since everything else in life has not been satisfying and has not been something that can fill me with contentment, I've been, okay, I'm gonna go to the Bible instead of all these different things. I'm gonna go to Jesus. Matthew 16:19-20 says, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." A lot of the times when you're going through a difficult season, a lot of the heartache is because you're not in control of it at all. It feels like no matter what you do, it's not going to go away, and it's really just in God's hands. And the truth is that it is in God's hands, but that doesn't make it any easier. But there are a couple things you can control, and one of those is spending time in the Word. And the more you do that, the more God will just fill you with peace and hope. If you're going through a difficult time, I really encourage you to surround yourself in community. I know usually when we're depressed, when we're discouraged, we just want to isolate ourselves. But more people are going through very similar things that you're going through than you think. And because of social media, there's this facade of putting off this perfect life and saying that you're okay. And so a lot of people don't know that you're struggling. That's why you need to reach out to others. Do not be ashamed of struggling. Do not be ashamed that you're discouraged. If you're going through depression, that can just be a chemical imbalance. That's the same thing as just breaking your leg. It's something that happens to you. It's a health misfunction. It's not your fault. In Ecclesiastes 4:9, it says that two are better than one. We are better when we are together. People have different perspectives and thoughts and aspirations than you do, and they can push you more to God and change your perspective. If you're going through a really difficult time, I know this can seem daunting, so just take it a day at a time, do small steps, maybe start going to church a little bit more often, or get involved in a Bible study, and then connect with someone, ask them to come over for dinner. Whatever helps you to find more community. I just want to say that this is something I really struggle with. Finding joy in suffering is paradoxical. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm in pain and I'm supposed to find joy. It's hard for me sometimes, but I think about the fact that God is putting me through this to prepare me for something even better, and that if I hadn't have gone through this, I wouldn't be ready for my next season. I wouldn't be able to be elevated. Right now, even though I can't see the future, I don't know what God is doing, I'm trusting Him that He has a plan and that everything He's doing right now is for my good. When and while you're suffering, try to find joy in the little things. Lately, I've been finding joy in cuddling with my cat Peter Pan and watching Sherlock on Netflix and doing art, and those things are little and just day-to-day things, but they mean the world to me right now. They're joy. They're things that are fulfilling and just show me beauty in this world when it's so hard. The Bible, it says that it is God's will for us to be thankful. It is God's will for us to pray and to realize, okay, God, you really have blessed me in a lot of different ways, and yes, this is hard, but I'm trusting you and I'm thankful for what you have blessed me with. Alright, I really hope this video was helpful. I wish someone would have told me before I went through so many different things how it can be for my good and that God always has my best intentions in mind. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe and bell button if you'd like to see more from me. I'll be posting videos every Tuesday. If you'd like to hear more about this topic, maybe how I've implemented certain practices in my life to help me find joy in suffering, let me know. Leave a comment below. I love hearing your guys' feedback. Alright, love you guys. Bye.